On February 27, 1996, Satoshi Tajiri, creator of Pokemon/Pocket Monsters as it's called in Japan, released the game Pocket Monsters Red and Green Edition in Japan. 2 years later, the games were reworked for an American release with Satoshi as its director. And on September 30th, 1998, these games were released under the name of Pokemon Red and Blue Edition. American audiences were enthralled with these games. They combined fun RPG-like elements with lovable characters known as Pokemon. Little did anyone know of the huge competitive and serious battles that would take place with these adorable creatures. As of the 6th gen, there were 18 types of Pokemon: normal, fire, water, electric, grass, ice, fighting, poison, ground, flying, psychic, bug, rock, ghost, dragon, dark, steel, and fairy. Typing being the kind of element they represent, and with each of the types they have their share of weaknesses and strengths. These were the bases for making teams during Gen 1 head-to-head battles. For example, psychic types were the most used type, or OU, during Gen 1 due to their weakness to Ghost, which all of the ghosts in the first game were part poison, which is weak to psychic, and bug types, which really didn't have any useful/powerful moves. Health, attack, special attack, defense, special defense, and speed are the stats of a Pokemon after Gen 1. But in Gen 1, special attack and defense were clumped together as just a special stat, which determined how powerful a special attack a Pokemon could do and how much special attack damage they could take. These stats vary from Pokemon to Pokemon and even types. For example, Umbreon, the Dark type, has a higher special defense than the Electric type Raichu. This is due to Dark type's high special defense stat. A competitive player trains and improves these stats through what are called EVs, or effort values. These are stat bonuses awarded to Pokemon for defeating certain types of other wild Pokemon. Example, defeating a speedy Pokemon like an Excelgor would award speed EVs, while defeating an Alakazam would award special attack EVs, and so on and so forth. In earlier gens, getting these EVs were more of an almost not worth it chore. However, in the most recent games, they have implemented a new super training mode where acquiring these EVs are a piece of cake.
Well, I suppose it really depends on what game and whether it's my first time playing it or not. Like here recently, I have an old Game Boy Advanced emulator on my home PC, and I've been trying to do a speed run of Pokemon Yellow. And I know the ins and outs of that game because I think I got my start playing Pokemon when I was about 3 or 4 years old. I played the original Red, Blue, Yellow games, so I know the ins and outs of those. So if I'm replaying a game, it's go for what I like and occasionally change it up. So normally I would choose, let's say I'm doing a red run through, I'd always choose Charmander. That's a challenge at the beginning, because of the difficult gyms you gotta fight. But that leads you to kind of relying on different things. There's different ways to make the game more challenging by choosing a team of weaker Pokemon, or Pokemon that are considered to be not quite as good as different ones. I think I've heard Bulbasaur is the best to start with. Yeah, because you can speed the first 2 gyms, because he's super effective. Most people tend to go for that kind of build, but I just kind of go for whatever. I mean, Charmander's a dragon. How can you not want a dragon? So typically I'll go with the fire starter in any game, and normally they make that the most challenging to play, but, whatevs. I think it's fun to go that route. For support, I'll tend to do a flying type. I try to go fire, flying, grass, water, fighting, and then the last one is either a repeat or something like a bug or a ghost or maybe a dragon. But they added dual types later on, so that made things a bit easier, I think. So that's typically my Pokemon build, I suppose, for a game I've played or I've played many times. Like, let's say I was to go out and get a 3DS, get Pokemon X and Y. I've only heard little bits and pieces about it. I know the starters and I know what they look like, but other than that I don't know their types, and I don't know the type advantages for the first couple gyms. So I'd probably just, default fire type, and then Kind of just, I'd probably chill in the tall grass areas and check out all kinds of the wild Pokemon that are there to kind of get a scope for what's available. That's probably what I do there.
These typings and stats are the basis of forming up a competitive team for the metagame, and are split off into tiers as if in a fighting game. First off, we have the Uber tier, which are banned Pokemon in most of all the legendaries, except the few that are allowed in standard battle. Next off, we have the OU tier, or the overused tier, which is determined by how often a Pokemon is used during standard play. Example, Garchomp or Aegislash. Next is the borderline tier, which is for the Pokemon that are too powerful to be in the underused tier, but not enough to be in the OU tier. The last two tiers, underused, which are Pokemon that are not used often enough to be OU, and never used. The name is not literal, stemming from the tiers of Generation 1, were never used, at generally lowered competitive value in comparison to other Pokemon. Lastly, the moves during battle, a strategy most competitive teams/players use, is one or two attacking moves, and the other two for stats affecting or stat boosting moves. For example, on Volcanra, pro players would usually suggest a fire attack, a bug attack, and a stat boost in move for its speed and special attack. And as for that last spot, it can either be another attack or a status affecting move on the opponent's Pokemon. This is all depending on the type of team you're building.
I would definitely say a benefit, because not only does it give the people playing a reason to play other than, they want to prove their skills and stuff to each other, they also want to prove their skills to all the people watching them play. Like, you go to these big tournaments and you see crowds and crowds of people, thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, and they're all cheering for their favorite team or favorite player or whatever, and it's just, it gives them just yet another reason to do this whole competitive scene, because sorry about that. Not only are they trying to prove themselves to each other, they're proving themselves to the world. It's definitely, and not just because of, not just this, but also, it's actually developed into sort of a market of its own. Like, you've got YouTube videos and stuff out there of people playing games, and large amounts of people watch them, and they actually turn it into their full-time job, because if they get enough people watching them, they can make enough ad revenue to sustain themselves, and that's what they do. They make YouTube videos of them playing games and sort of just show off to people, and they get money for it. So I would definitely say that it has helped rather than hindered the professional gaming scene.
Competitive battling of Pokemon has brought many friends together in one common goal, to be the Pokemon Master. Whether it be linking up old school with cables and Game Boys to duke it out, or battling someone from Indonesia or somewhere around the world wirelessly with a DS. We all just want to be the very best, like no one ever was.